Okay, welcome everybody to New Haven High School. We are here live from Armstrong Arena for the New Haven Super 10. I think we're underway. Double checking my phone here. And it appears that we are. So, just a quick word on the game plan. We are overlapping with the high school basketball coaches show, which is going on right now on the air on 92.7 FM. When that's over, we have to have a period to switch over our broadcast equipment. So we'll have a brief 5-minute delay. But after that, we'll be live on 92.7, and we will bring you the first two rounds, the two most meaningful rounds in the pool play here for the Adams Central Jets. Adams Central will begin by taking on Maconaquah on mat 3. And then they will take on the number 5 team in the state, the Avon Orioles, in round 2. And then we'll bring you some content during round 3, but Adams Central will not be wrestling. They will have a bye. So that's why the schedule is the way that it is today. Later today, we have Purdue basketball. That begins with pregame at 2:30. Adams Central will wrap up their pool by wrestling South Bend, Washington. And a quick look at South Bend, Washington's weigh-in sheets. I think they are pretty heavy on forfeits. Try to find it here. So I leafed through all my papers. South Bend, Washington showed up today with 8 wrestlers. So there will be at least 6 forfeits for South Bend, Washington as they take on Adams Central in round 4, somewhere around 1 o'clock. And then in round 5, Adams Central will take on Lakeland. I am solo today. John Kent's a little bit under the weather and unable to make his triumphant return to the airwaves here on 92.7 FM. If you're joining us, thank you. As I said, we'll be on 92.7 later in the day. In the other pool, it's New Haven, who were just defeated by Snyder earlier this week and beat Adams Central on Tuesday in the same gym. New Haven will take on Yorktown in round 1. That should be a good match. Followed by Bluffton or simultaneously with, I should say, Bluffton and Whitko, while Prairie Heights sits out round 1. New Haven will have the bye in round 3, take on Bluffton in round 4, and we'll wrestle Prairie Heights in round 5. I want to thank Jimmy Lynn for taking care of us this morning, getting us the weigh-in sheets. We can tell you that we will not see Zach Worm today as he's sitting this one out. And a quick look over there, if you're wondering about Keegan Bloom. I'm watching the boys run past us now. And I do not see Mr. Bloom in the warm-ups. He's over in his Hey Dudes next to Zach now that I see it. Going to have a pretty traditional lineup for Adams Central here in the opening round or two, according to Coach Curry. Same one that we saw on Thursday. That lineup started at 106 pounds with Miles Carr, followed by freshman Cale Beer, Jackson Bingham at 120. 2 more freshmen at 126 and 132, Dylan Ogg and Brayson Shorgan. At 138, it'll be Maverick Dubois. At 144, Xander Schwartz. Max Byerly will wrestle at 150. Jarrett Smith at 157. Matt Heiser at 165. Max Carr, 175. Trevor Curry will be the 190-pounder for Adams Central today. Wyatt McAfee will be wrestling at 215. And the heavyweight for perhaps the entire day will be Gavin Rumpel. Wrestlers warming up. There's a coaches meeting coming up here shortly. I wanted to highlight our conversation with Coach Curry from Thursday. Let me cue it up for you here real quick. It was a good win for Adams Central as they won 63-18 over Columbia City. bouncing back from their loss on Tuesday here to New Haven. And once again, I'm solo today, so I'm struggling with all of my duties. Trying to pull this up and unmute myself. And here we go.
Tony, a good satisfying win here tonight. A good crowd here, and we saw something interesting. It wasn't even elementary school wrestling. It was like preschool wrestling out there. Yeah. I've seen some really small singlets out there, and it was good. There must have been 16, 18 matches that you brought them paired up, and that was a nice little.
I apologize. It's not working for me. My desktop audio is not connecting for some reason. Oh, we might just skip that feature then.
Yeah, so earlier in the week, elementary duels is a big thing right now. And so we have an elementary duel team. Columbia City has an elementary duel team. So we paired up. I think there was about maybe 15 or so matches there. And, it was K-5, so there were some little dudes out there tonight. So, we got that in before JV and trying to get some fans in the stands and get some young parents, young kids. And it's good to get those kids matches. Hopefully they had fun with it and give them a taste of what it's like to wrestle in front of a crowd.
Well, tell us a little bit about this freshman class. I got a chance to see the middle school team a couple of times last year, but you've got 4 really solid freshmen who are really active on their feet and having a lot of success here earlier in the season.
Yeah, they're kids that have wrestled, their whole life, and they've been club kids from, kindergarten on up, and those kids love wrestling. It's an easy sell, in the summertime when we're practicing. They all went with us down to Disney, had some success down there at the Disney duels. And I knew we were going to plug a handful of them kids into the lineup, and day one they're varsity ready. So them kids come in, they know how to wrestle. They're strong physical kids. They put in the time. They practice with us in the summer. They practice Madman. They go up to Indiana Tech. Kids put in the time. So I knew coming in I was going to have a nice freshman class and like those kids, man. They're gritty, they're tough, they're hard workers, and they're doing a great job so far winning matches for us.
When it comes down to it, though, from what I've seen in the first week, you have to be excited about what the potential is. Yeah. I know you're always trying to – you talked to me on Tuesday after the match, and you said it's never as high as you think it's high, and it's never as low as you think it is low after the losses and after the wins. But I think looking at the lineup that you guys have, there's an awful lot to be excited about as a Jet fan heading into the rest of the season.
Yeah, hopefully our fans are excited. As a coaching staff, we're pretty excited at where we're at. And like I said, by no means are we where we want to be. Like we're still a couple weeks off. I mean, if we're just 100% honesty here, we're still a couple weeks off. And like you said, we've been through this. I think we've been to 5 of the last 6 semi-states or something like that, 3 state finals the last couple years. And so I kind of know what to expect. I kind of got a game plan put together, but it's typically about team state when we really start hitting our stride. And the good thing is we don't peak too soon. I mean, that hasn't been a problem the last several years. But it's about that first, second week of January. We really start hitting our stride where kids feel comfortable on their feet. They feel comfortable with their attacks. These kids, they know what they got to do. We just got to get them in shape.
That's been Tony Curry of the Adams Central Flying Jets right here on 92.7 FM.
We always thank Coach Curry for his cooperation and help in our broadcasts. Looking forward in the schedule for WZBD when it comes to wrestling. After today's action, we will have wrestling again on Wednesday evening as Norwell travels to the hangar to take on the Jets. Rex and myself doing that match. Then on Thursday, it's the big one. We have An exciting episode of High School Wrestling Weekly where we'll speak to the 10 former Belmont State champs that will be in attendance. Hopefully they'll all cooperate. And then we'll have Adams Central and Belmont. There might not be anybody left to listen to the match, as we hope that everybody will be there in person, but it should be a good time. And then on Friday we'll have ECIC Wrestling live from South Adams. Live from Jay County, involving South Adams, I should say. And then after the holidays, we will have coverage of the Al Smith from Mishawaka, along with coverage of the girls regional at Jay County. And then, of course, after the new year, we'll have the bracket reveal for Team State. We will have matches for South Adams at Huntington North. And, of course, Team State on January 6th. Oh, we also have an Adams Central match mixed in there, too, as they will wrestle Homestead on January 2nd. I forgot about that one. I'll be live from Rochester High School for the 1A Team State Finals. Looking very, very likely that that will include South Adams and Adams Central. We're excited about that one. While Rex and AJ will be at Jay County for the 2A tournament. Belmont right now looking like potentially the number 1 seed. Potentially looking like Adams Central could be the number 1 seed. Today will go a long ways in determining that. If Adams Central gets a chance to wrestle against Prairie Heights, they should be able to solidify their position. Avon, very much the favorite in this tournament, as they've moved up in the rankings considerably since the beginning of the year. We take a look at the rankings on Indiana Mat overall. Of course, a lot of discussion in the last week after the Ironman on whether Crown Point or Brownsburg should be considered the number 1 team in the state. Brownsburg did finish ahead of the Bulldogs of Crown Point in that tournament, but right now Crown Point sits at number 1, Brownsburg at number 2, and Center Grove at number 3. And just behind them is Avon at number 4, Mater Dei at number 5, Perry Meridian at 6, followed by Penn, Warren Central, Columbus East, and Cathedral. In the 1A poll, Adams Central moved to the number 1 spot this week. They are followed by Rochester. Rochester is in action today. I have to remember where they are. They are hosting the John McKee Memorial Invite. That tournament includes Bremen, Caston, Clinton Prairie, Concord, Cowan, Culver, Eastern, Elkhart, Hamilton Heights, a team that's attending 2A Team State, Manchester, North Miami, a team that's already in for 1A, Northwestern, Tippy Valley, Tri-West, Triton, and West Noble. Be a good comparison to see where North Miami are in the 1A side of things. So 3 qualified 1A teams at that Rochester tournament, Cowan, Rochester, and North Miami, along with the 2A team in Hamilton Heights. Number 3 in 1A is Tell City. Number 4 is South Adams. South Adams wrestling at Newcastle today. Prairie Heights number 5, North Miami number 6, Cowan number 7, followed by West Central and Faith Christian from over there in the Lafayette area. And rounding out the top 10 is Southmont. We are about 10 minutes away from getting started. Adams Central is on the mat. Maconaquah occupying the space in between the chairs and the edge of the mat on round 1. These two teams met last year, and we broadcast that match, as we did with Avon and Adams Central last year. But of course, this is a rotating tournament with alternating years between New Haven and Yorktown to accommodate teams from the north and teams from the south. We were down at Yorktown last year. We are at New Haven this year. Looking forward to bringing you the action. Checking in with all kinds of people who are listening to us now. If you're looking for the High School Basketball Coaches Show, that's on 92.7 FM. That will go until 9:05 or 9:10. and then we will have a switch over for you. And we will switch over to 92.7 and end our YouTube broadcast. We want to thank all of our sponsors who help bring wrestling to the radio. They include Decatur Dental Services, DeVos Baker in Ainsworth, State Farm Insurance, Arnold Lumber, Adams County Stormwater and Sewage, Three Rivers Federal Credit Union, Don Myers Plumbing, Adams County Solid Waste District, Haggard Hershey and Zelt Funeral Home, Smith Brothers Furniture, Best One of Monroe, Bixler Insurance, 9 Mile Restaurant, the Adams County Prosecutor's Office, SureFlow Seamless Gutters, Indiana Physical Therapy, Adams Memorial Hospital, Innovative Concepts, Masters Heating and Cooling, Graber Insurance, Hitzer Fireplace, the All-American Stores with locations in Hoagland and Adams Central, Monroe, and in New Haven, among various other places. Kelly Automotive in Decatur, Teamy Takedown Tree Service, Expert Transmission in Decatur and Bluffton, Bowers Body Shop in Decatur, Paul Baker Drywall, Luganville Excavating, Miller Land Surveying in Monroe, and DDD Maintenance and Repair, along with Dr. Laura Kukulhan and Complete Smiles in Bluffton, Pre-Stress on Winchester Road in Decatur, McIntyre Heating and Air Conditioning, Soul Pig Barbecue on 2nd Street in Decatur, Town & Country Auctioneers, Velocity Motors in Bluffton, and Wygan Construction. Also want to mention our wrestling boosters, Johnson's Auto Sales on 13th Street in Decatur, and Ahead of the Curve Driving Academy, educating young drivers all over Adams County. Coaches have emerged with cups of coffee and weigh-in sheets, and they're filing in. Table workers are still in the break room. Our officials tonight, this morning, gosh, it's not night. Our officials this morning are not listed, but I can tell you that I have so far seen Eric Lopshire along with Jeremy Aker. Let's see who else we have on these weigh-in sheets. Lopshire, Aker, and I can't read the handwriting of anybody else on the weigh-in sheets. So we'll go with who we've got. They're not out on the mat yet. Table workers just starting to come out. Crowd building behind me. If you're just joining us, Adams Central will take on Maconaquah here in the opening round, a battle of two teams already qualified for Team State. Adams Central at the 1A in Rochester, and Maconaquah wrestling in the Jay County 2A. In round two, roughly 10:15 start time, it'll be Adams Central against Avon. Avon, one of the favorites to win one of the two remaining spots in the 4A Team State tournament. Of course, the teams will be announced live on our show on WZBD 92.7 FM and online at WZBD.com. 7 o'clock is the start of our show. It runs till 8:30. We will have as many teams as we can call in after their acceptance is made known. And the big news is we won't have just two teams from each of the four classes, totaling 8. But instead, we're going to have 12 teams to announce because the Coaches Association has decided to expand the 3A tournament to a 12-team bracket, allowing for a little bit of cushion on who is going to be involved. A lot of controversy, not really controversy, more discussion as to how best to deal with the fact that DeKalb has struggled this year, but was an automatic qualifier. And of course, Snyder was an automatic qualifier last spring, but they lost 2 state qualifiers to transfers as Juliana Ocampo moved back to New Haven and Dial Capone Veazey moved all the way to Colorado, significantly weakening their outlook for this year. Although Snyder, in my opinion, after getting a late start because of football, they looked awfully good on Tuesday against Belmont. But once again, there are some 3A teams that are not going to be losing to 2A and 1A team state teams like Snyder did on Tuesday. Snyder did come back and beat New Haven here on Thursday in a very close duel, 39-36. That's something to talk about later. Of course, New Haven has contenders for girls' state titles at both 106 and 113 with Isabel Ocampo and Juliana Ocampo. Ocampo, the older, a multiple state champion on the girls' side of things. The daughter of Sam Ocampo, who's on the coaching staff here at New Haven, along with Jimmy Lynn and Harley Barron. New Haven will be taking on Yorktown, what should be a very good duel right in front of my broadcast position. Phil Arnold over on the table, telling everybody to clear out. Maconaquah is going to take the bench opposite the scoreboard. Adams Central will occupy the set of bleachers to the right of the scoreboard. Looks like Eric Lopshire is going to be our official here. We'll see what weight we start at. We will be using a manual scoreboard for the team score and the small scoreboard. One of the highlights of this Maconaquah team is Ethan Farnell, ranked pretty highly in the state. Pull those up. Farnell weighed in today at 175 pounds and should be a good challenge for the Jets. His older brother Logan Farnell was a state placer. Let's see where we can find Mr. Farnell in the state rankings. He's ranked number 20, a junior for the Braves. The teams are huddling up now, getting a team talk. And we'll see what weight we're starting at, or if we start with the national anthem. Once again on mat 1, it's going to be New Haven and Yorktown. Mat 2, Bluffton versus Whitco. Mat 3, Adams Central and Maconaquah. And on mat 4, Avon will begin the day with a short match against South Bend, Washington. South Bend, Washington with 6 forfeits in their lineup and just 8 wrestlers on the team. Of course, South Bend Schools going through some restructuring here at the end of the year, closing a high school. That'll make some changes for them and their athletic teams. Let's see who's getting their headgear on first. I see 138 up on the board, and I would assume that is where we shall begin. We'll start with those lineups here as we get them. Of course, in a tournament like this, if you're new to a Super Duel, there is no announcing of who is on the mat, so you kind of have to go with the weigh-in sheet that you have. Cross-reference them with the poor handwriting of the coaching staff and the program that is printed off for you, which is just a collection of PDFs sent weeks ago. At 138 pounds for Maconaquah will be Nate Haynes, and he will be wrestling Maverick Dubois to start things off. We'll see what we can get out of the Braves for a lineup. On the coaching staff today for Adams Central, talked with Coach Curry earlier. He's helping fill out the book with the managers. Coach Landis, Coach Thomas, Coach Perry, Coach Mosier, Coach Schultz, Coach Jordan, all in attendance today. So we said we're going to start at 138 pounds. Maverick Dubois for Adams Central. That means we'll finish at 132. Give me time to fill out my lineup sheet here so I can give you the rundown at the end. As a reminder, here in less than 5 minutes, we're going to go off the air, off of YouTube and this broadcast. We're going to situate our broadcast equipment, and we're going to jump in right away with coverage on the air. We want to thank everybody for joining us and getting the scoop on how things are going to work today. Don't forget to join us for High School Wrestling Weekly as we find out who will be the final 2 teams in 1A and 2A. Along with 6 teams to be announced for 3A and 2 more teams in 4A. We're getting the welcome now. 10 teams here in attendance.
The students and staff of New Haven High School believe in good sportsmanship and ask for your cooperation at today's event. It is the mission of the IHSAA Northeast State Conference at New Haven High School to promote the ideals of good sportsmanship, fair play, and respect for our opponents and officials. Booing, taunting, or intimidating the officials, student athletes, and coaches is unacceptable and unsportsmanlike. We ask that you please let the wrestlers wrestle, let the coaches coach, and the officials officiate in today's event. Please remember, New Haven High School is a non-smoking facility that includes...
Going through the final instructions here over the PA. As we mentioned earlier, we're going to have a pretty standard lineup for Adams Central here in the early going. It does not seem likely that we will see Keegan Bloom or Zach Worm.
Your officials for today's event are Jeremy Aker, Eric Klopshire, Nathan Miller, and Scott Yields. Please, right now, if you are able, please stand and remove your hats for the national anthem.
And I'm going to take my headset off here for the national anthem and return in just a minute. Okay, with that, we hope that you enjoyed our pre-match coverage here. We are going to switch our controls over to WZBD 92.7 FM. Please join us tomorrow night for High School Wrestling Weekly, and jump over to WZBD.com and click on Listen Live or turn us on your radio, and we'll be back in a